your spaceship music collective. This is Six Set Bro, a misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. I'm your host, Del Maple. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Six Set Bro Live. We're live. It's humping day, man. Fucking humping day. We're late. We're late to the show. That's normal. We do that all the time. Don't worry. I wouldn't worry about it or anything. It's just that audio equipment never works. Audio equipment never works. Am I right? All right, everyone. What's the deal with audio equipment?
Get Joey Seinfeld up.
I don't get it. Am I right? This is Six Set Bro. We're a music and entertainment podcast. I am your host, Del Maple, indie musician, and I'm joined by the guy whose equipment all broke. He's the Hungry Ghost. You can see it there. You can follow him on Instagram. He releases music under that name, but around here we call him Money Mike. Oh, that was a really quiet little cash register. Hold on. Let me pump the volume up. Oh, that was a little too loud, I think. I can't really find the sweet spot tonight, which seems to be an ongoing trend.
This is the culprit.
That's the culprit right there. It's a microphone, and it's
4 weeks old, and for some reason it's not working. So
of course, it's Elvis's microphone, by the looks of it. It looks like an old Elvis microphone. That's probably why it's from the 1950s, dude. That's why it's all dusty. Yeah. Other guy in the digital room is the one and only in-house gamer girl. It's Nandez. Boop, 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 boop.
What up? I'm currently distracted because Portugal are playing in the Euros against France. So.
I was gonna say, dude, because it's like I hear some audio bleed, and it's like, what is that?
How many screens you got in front of you tonight?
That's footballs.
just the one over there, and then the
just
laptop.
The one. Just the one. Yeah, gotta support that Portugal. I don't really understand football. That sounds stupid. I mean, I understand football. I just play
it's
it.
It's a game of two halves.
I know. I just don't follow it. It's probably like one of the simplest sports to follow ever, to be honest. Yeah, how are Portugal doing? I don't follow yours at all. Wait, are they doing good?
Well, they're the reigning defending champions from 4 years ago, so they are drawing at the minute with France.
Are they scoring many goals?
They've scored the 1 goals, and France have also scored the 1 goals.
Oh,
so it's currently 1-1 on goals.
Zidane Zidane.
But there you go.
Thierry Henry.
There you go.
France. France as I know it, everyone.
There's been a lot of draws in the Euros this time around, isn't there? Loads of them have been draws.
There's been loads of shots.
This is where the NBA shines. No such thing as a draw. You can't have a tie in the NBA, yeah. And I like that.
Well, that's most American sports, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's like, no, there must be a winner. There must be a winner.
Not mad
at murder. There must be murder.
No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that.
I thought you said there must be murder.
No,
I don't know. I'm hearing things now. No. My headphones are breaking. Microphones are breaking. Headphones are breaking. Yeah, so I mean, we got plenty of things to get through. I talk a little more about COVID regulations.
Oh no!
I gotta talk about Logic, Spotify, a bunch of stuff. But you know what? Before we get into any of that, we need to make a point. We want to talk about our track of the day from last week. Because we did like a 3-hour podcast with Sean McCann last week, and we got carried away, man. We got carried away. I got carried away, and we talked for too long.
Late.
Andy came in late. He was not feeling the vibe. He was like, "What's happening?" And I just was talking for like 3 hours and getting drunker and drunker. So just stop knowing what I was doing.
Maybe don't go back and watch that podcast.
Definitely do. It was one of the best. It was the fucking best podcast ever. Yeah, so because we had Sean on, we sort of like all of our normal segments. There was no fluidity to anything, so we were kind of just like talking random shit, and then we remembered at the very end that we forgot to talk about track of the day, and we talked about it for 5 seconds, which doesn't feel fair. So we thought we would start the show today with track of the day, and which kind of promote it a little bit. And well, usually you play this stinger for it. Shut up, segment! Shut up, segment! Which is, it's actually like pretty weird to hear that at the start of the show. It's usually one of the last things we do, but we're gonna do it at the start because it only seems fair that Yenner gets the top of the bill because he was track of the day last week, or he or isn't. It's a he, right? I never actually double checked to see if it was a band because I was not 100%.
Yes.
But there's a picture of one person as the artist profile, so I was assuming it was one person.
It's a little bit hard. I did do some digging, so I think Yenner is a guy, and he's like an electronic grunge kind of artist sort of thing. So I think what has happened was, no, I could be wrong here. I did go through some tracks, and I don't know if maybe he does also do vocals himself, but I think what has happened is he done like a lot of electronic instrumental sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I find really interesting about the project is he has a website up, which kind of reminds me of the start of your Spaceship and Six Set Bro. It's like trying to do a little bit of everything. The guy is like reviewing other people's music. He has like collaborative projects on the go. He kind of just blogs from that website as well. It's really interesting to go on to. It's one of those things where you can kind of get like sucked down a hole of like clicking on another article and stuff. But basically what I think has happened there is he's had like a load of very cool instrumentals that sound so dope on their own, but he started reaching out to like different artists and stuff to get some vocals and stuff on top. So the one that we're talking about, Crashed, is with an Australian singer-songwriter called Miranda Claire. So you got listening to the track then, didn't you, since last week? Yeah,
definitely, man. And it's like one of those things where I'm like, sometimes whenever a track just hits you on like, I don't know, the right day or the right time or something. And I was like, I don't know, there's something, it feels like such a generic thing to say, but it was so chill. I was driving in my car and I was feeling it. I was very relaxed and I was like, this is super relaxing. And it made me want to like put it on immediately again. But there was something, I think you actually mentioned this potentially on the last podcast or else whenever we were talking in private. I can't really remember. But you were talking about like this almost 90s like vibe to it, even though it's electronic. There was something kind of like nostalgic about it for me.
It was the little snippet brief that I wrote up for our track of the day.
That's where I seen it from, and I was like, whoa, I totally hear that like straight away. But no,
and I don't really know what it is about it. I don't know if it's like the addition of Miranda Claire's vocals that kind of, or is the instrumentation already kind of.
It's hard to tell. It's a little bit of both.
Feels about, but
yeah. I mean, I think the minute the instrumental hits, like at the very start, I do feel a little bit transported back to some like garage electronic 90s thing, but it's also modern as well. Like, I mean, it doesn't sound old, but there's just something that's sort of like reminiscent of an older time.
It's more the better word. It's like it doesn't sound dated, but it gives you like sort of like bursts
I get that.
Yeah,
it's always so hard to explain that because I mean another artist that I think falls into that category was like Biba Doobie. She released her debut album, I believe it was debut album anyway. And it's just so like, this is like 90s grunge rock, like that's what it is. Like, it was so reminiscent of like garage or a little bit of Alanis Morissette, a little bit of Veruca Salt, stuff like that. And it was just like, it had all these, that's so much in that, but there's something really modern about it as well. It's like you really brought that sound forward, and man, it's a hard thing to do. So for sure, yeah. I mean, there's a reason it's strike of the day, and it's a crime. We didn't get to talk about it enough.
Yeah. The other good thing, I don't actually have it in front of me here at the minute. I was, as I say, going through that website as well. I think I'm right in saying that Yenner is working on. I think there's other collabs and stuff in the works. So I think he's working on bringing out either like an EP or an album, like midsummer, end of summer sort of thing. Because I think I seen one of his articles on the website teasing that. So there's going to be more coming from him too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, man, go check him out if you're listening to this show. Yenner, Yenner.
And if you want to check out that website, it's theyenner.org.
The Yenner.
Yeah.
I followed him on Spotify earlier because I want to know about this EP and stuff whenever it drops. So, like, yeah, give him a little follow. Get your little mobile device, go and follow on Spotify, and then you'll know because he'll be on your release radar algorithm. Thank you, fake audience. Thank you. And nobody else will laugh. So, yeah, I feel like we corrected a lot of wrongs there, guys. I think that was good.
Yeah, that was
yeah, it felt wrong.
Oh, by the way, track of the day, Yenner, boom.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening over the outro music, and I was like, that's so rude. It's so rude. Because it was track of the day, and we like did a little review and everything. And worst of all, Yenner was in the comments. He watched the show, man. They watched the show. Yeah. So sorry, but
he messaged afterwards as well. He seems like a really nice guy and stuff too. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, thank you for tuning in, and like I'm only half joking, but yeah, I was like, yeah, we need to write this wrong like immediately in this show because like we like to talk about track of the day, and it's just, man, you get caught up talking to guests.
I did say to him whenever I was messaging, he actually tuned in for a slightly abnormal show. It's not often we have guests on, so it was all about Sean that night. So apologies.
Dude, I mean, the shows are going more that way. I mean, the episode before, I had like a 5-minute long song about how it was our 50th episode, which we played twice, and one time I pulled the jack lead out and the audio stopped. And we were
I say it was because of a guest episode, but like really, it's usually just our fault.
I feel like we're
stuff.
Just going further and further into this weird world of podcasting, where we're trying to reach new heights of making it even more interesting. It's like, join us next week. Stuart will be skydiving live on the show. It's just like, what? How many more little things can we come up with to make people watch?
Yeah, well, and you know, if it guarantees another couple of subs, we'll do it. We'll throw Stu out of a plane.
We will.
We don't care.
We will, and that's a guarantee.
The funniest bit of last week is when you two said exactly the same thing at exactly the same time.
That was sad. That was uncomfortable.
You edited that out, right? You cut that part from the show.
Unfortunately not, no. I think I actually talked about it later because I said we were cybernetically connected.
That was very good.
Yeah, that was weird. Maybe we were a little too close, Money Michael. Maybe we were a little too close. Do we ever think about that?
Social distancing,
yeah. Talk too much. Right, anyway, let's get into some music news, everybody. So, in that, boring. You know what sound I need to get on the soundboard is a boo. Boo. So in COVID regulation news, boo. That's what I'm gonna put there. Gonna edit that in afterwards. No, I
feel
won't.
like that would be dangerous. That sound effect, though, I can see you abusing it.
Boo. I can just do it myself. I feel like it's that what's that from? Oh, The Office. Whenever
I was gonna say Family Guy, but
no, there's a thing in The Office where Michael boos at whenever Andy's doing Sweeney Todd, and then Daryl's like, "How would you like it if I booed you?" Boo, boo, and he's just booing in his face like it's not nice. So yeah, I don't need a sound clip. I'll just do it myself. I am the original soundbite. So COVID news. Boo. I really want the sound, sorry. Yeah, COVID news, live music ban, right? So we spoke, was it last week? With Sean, possibly? We've been gearing up to this, 21st of June live music's coming back, baby. Live music's coming back. No, it ain't. It didn't. Live music did not come back. And we were a bit hesitant about it anyway, and they kept using the word indicative. They were like, it's an indicative date. I was like, what does that even mean? Just tell me that you're not bothered because you're too concerned about looking for like DUP leaders. Clearly the priorities are elsewhere. Let's just say that. Okay. So the ban on live music has been extended until the 5th of July. And the reason they're given is because of the dreaded Delta variant.
Does that only affect live music events and nothing else?
Apparently so.
It doesn't affect football, apparently.
I was about to say,
just
right?
anything?
So,
not even just anything else.
not that, like, look, I know I was making comments earlier. I was like, I don't get football or whatever. I'm not trying to, like, diss on football, but is there not a thing about the Euros and, like, the finals of the Euros, and they're trying to, like, sort out a thing of, like, how many, like, the capacity is going to be, like, almost full capacity or something wild, and it's like, I just don't understand the difference at this point. Like, and I'm not one of those, I feel like I'm falling into a shady area where you're like, I don't want to do stuff too soon. I really don't, but I am starting to struggle with the double standard a little bit. Is like, why so many people at the Euros? Why no live music and bars? Like, I don't know, just like
people go into cinemas but no live music and bars.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a double standard, and it's clearly because people don't really give a shit about live music. Not the people in government here, anyways, because they're all super old dinosaur people, lizard people, whatever.
Boo.
Boo. Boo, government. Don't trust your government, kids. Don't trust them. They want to take your marijuanas away. It's true. It's true. Just ask Caruso. Alex Caruso. Did you see that? He plays on the Lakers. He's an NBA player, and like he got arrested for marijuana possession. He had like 2 grams or something. They find a grinder on him that had a little bit of weed in it, and they're like, "You're arrested, son." Like,
he was in Texas.
He was in Texas, after all, where everyone owns a gun.
He could, yeah.
The gun state. That's what they should change their name to. And that's a smart enough dumbass is like me being a Texan. Should do one in yep, that's happening. Time to get real mad. Time to talk shit about the things we can't stand. Ain't nobody out there's getting past. Smart enough dumbass. Oh. Alex Caruso, don't you come around here with your marijuanas. Alex Caruso, get out of our state. Yeah, no, for real, you know what I do want to complain about? And I'm just getting way, way off topic really soon. I want to complain about my life currently.
That's very generalized.
Fucking hate people. People are the worst. Very stressed right now. And it's everyone else's fault. I've started feeling recently, right? And I feel it's such a sociopathic route to go down, is that I don't get why, like, I'm so normal and nobody else is. Do you ever feel that? You're like, why the fuck am I so normal? Why is everybody else fucking crazy? I don't understand it. Why do I see these crazy people doing crazy things? I'm like, hey, just be normal.
Like, I have that feeling while driving a lot, yeah.
Right? Me and my wife talk about this as like, are we really weird for like being like, you know what, guys? Can you just be normal? Could you just be like a normal person instead of just being a friggin' weirdo all the time? And I'm getting a little bit stressed about that. Just being like, am I the crazy one? Am I crazy? I don't know.
Are we talking about
what
specific
happened? Yeah, I have no idea.
incidents here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we getting into details? Or
I just don't mean anything.
just people are fucking weird.
Look at the last, like, how many sick or smart enough dumbasses that I've done. Which, by the way, is a podcast within a podcast where I vent about things that annoy me, by the way. I did not mention that previously, but that's what this is right now. And it happens so much because there's so many crazy people. You got Van Morrison singing songs about Robin Swan. He's mental. You've got a woman who thinks magnets stick to her because she got vaccinated. I'm like, hey, guys, just be normal. Just be normal. All right? Okay. Time to get real, man. Time to talk shit about the things we can't stand. Ain't nobody out there's getting past. Smart enough, dumbass. That really, just did not have one. Had to wing it there. But I just like we brought up the whole thing, so I just had to go for it. Anyway, music news. Yeah, so they pushed they extended the ban, on live music until the 5th of July because of the Delta variant. So, like I said, there's a lot of controversy about this, right? So, I mean, number one problem, the Euros. I don't really know if, like, young money Michael, might be able to pull up something about that while I'm talking here. But there's definitely something where they're trying to organize, like, a very big capacity for the Euros finals, I believe.
Yeah, in Wembley. Yeah.
Right? Isn't that right? Andy might even know a little bit about it. I don't know. Yeah. But so that's kind of a controversy because this comes at the exact same time that this has been pushed back. And they waited to the last minute to tell everyone again. Like, you know, some people might have made plans. They're trying to book shows and they're like, no, 5th of July. No, it's not that far away, but still, like, why? The Delta variant is not new. We already knew about it. But for some reason, apparently the data is not good. Whatever. Another kind of thing that people are getting frustrated with is that throughout the last few months, there have been festivals put on, right? And they've been put on basically through, like, checking vaccinations, right? And sort of like, you know, if you had both your vaccines, then you could go to it and they would check you and all this whatever, right? And it was ran by, or I shouldn't say ran by, but it was monitored by the Event Research Program. But the weird thing is that there's absolutely zero data that's ever came out about it. So the whole thing was meant to be that we're meant to find out if, like, is that okay to do? But still at this point, they keep pushing, like, dates back for live music. And there are no regulations in place. Like, I mean, there's nothing to suggest this is what you will have to do to put on a show. So it's not just the frustration of pushing back again, but it's like, we don't know what the regulation is once the 5th of July comes if they don't push it back again. It's like, what does it mean when you go? Can only vaccinated people go in? You know, is there going to be social distancing? Is there going to, like, we don't know. There's been zero communication about that, and, you know, like we've said many times on the show, it's kind of hard for us as people that don't rely on music as a completely full-time job, like full amount of income coming from that area. But, like, there are people that do, and there's people I know that do, and it's like, man, there is so much uncertainty. It's just not even fair. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're saying about, like, you don't know how it's gonna work and stuff. I'm wondering, as you said, like, the results haven't came out from, like, these test events and stuff that they were doing, but, like, if they're happy enough with those results, will it basically just be a replication of what happened at, like, it was Download, wasn't it, that you said was, like,
there's so many. It's not even just Download, but there's been a number of festivals put on, and it's this like I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. I was gonna say company, but it's not really a company. But the Event Research Program, like, that's the thing that we're meant to monitor what happened afterwards. Yeah. Like, did we see spikes in cases? Did we see problems occurring probably due to that? Like, I mean, you could localize the case or the, like, infection rate and sort of see, like, did it spike in those areas after an event like that? But there's zero information. It's an article on NME. You can even go and look at now. Yeah. I seen, like, rumblings about this, and then I seen they put an article out, and they're kind of just like, what was the point of all that? If it was, like, they were calling them, like, pilot festivals, like test festivals, to be like, let's see how this goes if we put some things in place. And they did it and didn't release anything. I'm like,
do you think maybe it was more like a thing to? Well, I mean, they probably are getting data from it, and they're probably analyzing that privately. But do you think it was maybe more a little bit of a stunt to appease people who are waiting to get gigs back, going, look, we're looking into it, we're trying to figure it out, but they're like just trying to delay it basically until more people are jabbed?
Ah, dude, could be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see that for everything, and you know, I talk about all this because I'm trying to see all sides of it, and I understand the frustration. I'm personally a person that like, that was a weird one. I am personally a person that if there was a festival, I wouldn't be there because I'm not at that comfort level. I'm just trying to talk from all sides here. I get it. But I mean, if the choice was there, I wouldn't be taking myself off to it or anything. Just still a bit maybe too soon for me. I haven't had my second vaccine. I've only had the first. Yeah, maybe I would feel a bit more confident after that. I don't know. There's so many question marks still, but I don't see the point in like dangling like the carrot.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's like you know, why dangle it so close and then take it away and then say this date and then they could potentially take that date away, and it's like I don't know at this point. Like, just tell us a date way off.
Two interesting developments. One in my own personal life and another one was up on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen this already, but in relation specifically to live events and stuff happening in NI. Now, I know it doesn't mean anything because it's obviously all dependent on the government and whenever they set dates and open the doors and everything for things to get back to normal. But the first one, the big one that's probably of more of a discussion here is, did you guys see that they're planning on doing Culture Night this year?
Oh, I did not know that. I wasn't sure if it was happening.
There was an announcement up. Obviously, I assume this is all dependent on what the situation is, but because I was talking about it with my dad on the way in, because he was sort of like, oh, I actually seen the post up, and it's like, it's weird that you know, they're going ahead and they don't really know what the situation is. And I said, well, probably what they're doing is they're being optimistic, and the thing is, if you were going to do a Culture Night, you'd need to be organizing now, if not sooner, because it's such a big thing.
Am I wrong? Did we talk about this, a very similar thing with Sunflower Fest? Didn't we speak about it? Because those guys are going ahead.
Yeah.
And I remember talking about this like a good few months ago and be like, they like announced that everything's
you need to do a Wayne's World, and like if we book it, they will come, sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you want to try and get something done this year, you need to be optimistic that the environment is going to be right and everything is going to go ahead, because if it takes too much planning to put on something as large scale as that.
Yeah.
But it was just the way in which the announcement for Culture Night was put up was slightly interesting. So it was Culture Night returns to Cathedral Quarter this September with a new format and a new approach designed for a COVID-safe post-pandemic environment. Other funny thing, though, is I think that they say somewhere, I'm like, is this just because of COVID, or have they been listening to our podcast? Running from 17th to 19th September, Culture Night presents the City Garden will transform Cathedral Gardens, Writers Square, and the area around into a colourful, nature-inspired place for play, enjoyment, and relaxation, all evoking the feeling of garden in the heart of the city. And then read more. There's a link. I think somewhere in the release it said that it's going to be more close quarters. There's going to be less running around.
Which is literally the opposite.
The opposite of what you'd want to do. But
we're going to make things closer this year. It's like,
but the announcement, I think, does say stuff about, like, you know, COVID type like scenarios that they're taking into account and everything, and how they're going to try and be safe and everything else. But I just thought it was interesting that it's like, finally, I mean, they're like, there's a lot of walking between.
Yeah, we brought this up before. Like, clearly, like, I'm joking. Like, this is something that we've wanted for a long time. It's like it's a little bit too sparse sometimes with Culture Night, and you just can't make it from one end to the other, and sometimes there'll be one random good thing happening like so far away, and you're like, what the hell is like why pick that venue? Maybe that's the only venue that works with it. I don't know. We discussed it in depth on some other show. Go find it. I don't know. I don't know what one it is. I'm not your babysitter. I don't know.
So the other interesting thing then as well was personal for me was D, one of the managers of OES Center, reached out to me saying that if everything goes to plan, they're hoping on getting volunteers back in the OES Center and having the OES Center open more often, like regular sort of hours and stuff in July. So he was just making that initial reach out. He says like no dates or anything, and like I don't know if I'm gonna have my same day or anything else, but he's just like, it's been well over a year since you've been in the place, just trying to find out what volunteers are interested in actually coming back, sort of thing. So
cool.
Oh yeah, is kind of preparing to open their doors again. That could mean maybe potentially live events in there. I know they used to do like the getting to know sessions and stuff on a Thursday, which
could definitely, I mean, they could still work socially.
They were ideal because they were smaller scale. You can kind of just space people out a bit more and stuff. And then in the last year or so, maybe a little bit more before lockdown hit, they had actually started videoing those and putting them up online too, which was great. If you couldn't make it on the night, so.
Totally. Can I ask as well as whenever D did message you about potentially volunteering again at OEA, was this like how recent was it? I'm just curious of like, I never know what information like people behind the scenes might get, whether they just find out with everyone else, but it's kind of like, I mean, it was meant to be the 21st of June. So like, were you reached out to before that, or is it just...
No, yesterday or the day before.
Yeah. So, and it's for July, which is like the 5th of July is meant to be the going forward. It's just interesting to me how, like, people sort of knew, well, that date ain't happening. It's not like somebody booked a show for the 22nd of June. like, nah.
I think everybody was just kind of doing what we were doing and kind of saying, like, England pushed back their date and we're usually slow to respond and just kind of copy what they do, sort of thing.
Because I'm pretty sure
if it opens up sooner, everybody would be happy. But like, if it doesn't, it's kind of expected, and I think that's probably what most people's assumptions are based on. I don't know that there's any more information people are going on or anything. I think it's just kind of like, oh well, they're delayed. We're probably going to end up being delayed as well. I mean, like Scotland delayed too, didn't they? Like I think pretty much everybody in the UK has pushed back. So
the Delta variant. Sounds awesome. Probably not awesome if you get it, like, but it's like some Doctor Who shit, which is a thing that I just don't get. I don't get Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's okay. I was like, are we getting into the Delta variant talk or no? That's okay. I wasn't really. Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna put fans off of the show, but yeah, I never really got Doctor Who either.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? You need to be accepting of other people's opinions, and that's what I'm gonna say. So if you stop watching the show because somebody don't get Doctor Who, yeah, that's what I always say is like, convince me otherwise, and don't just tell me to go and watch it. I'm gonna need like a good 50-page essay on why I should like get into Doctor Who. Because so far, I just don't get it. I feel like I could kind of make it here. You know what I mean? It's like I could probably just like pull out some cables on my TV and was like, ooh, Doctor Who, same thing.
Andy, you're not itching down there, are you? You weren't a Doctor Who fan or anything, were you? No.
Oh, boys, the subs are dropping. The subs are dropping like crazy. We're down to one sub.
I never got it. Got it.
Yeah, just don't get it. But the people who do get it, they will be mad because they are diehard people. And we respect you. I respect your opinion. It's all good. So well, I just thought everyone should know. Big round of applause for Van Morrison. Hey, Vanderman, Robin Swan, very dangerous, extremely dangerous. Van Morrison is gonna take some legal action because he ain't happy about this. He's not happy about the pushback. He's getting the courts involved, friends.
Who rattled his fucking cage? Like, seriously? Just sit down.
I don't know
enjoy
what
your
happened.
wealth, man.
I don't know what happened with Van Morrison. He bought that golden microphone. I don't know if anyone's seen him, but he has this fucking golden microphone. It's going on the thumbnail. I'll find the picture. It's going on the thumbnail. Van
Can
Morrison
I borrow it, Van, please? Because my microphone is broken. Or even
the gold makes it last, Mike. It's like needs to be gold,
That's-
Mike. Needs
that's-
to be gold, Michael.
That's where I went wrong. I couldn't find any gold microphones.
Silver
on
microphones
Amazon.
are very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Always wrong. Oh my god, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, you see that thing? It's every time I watch it, I just verbally have to be like, shut up. It's just, he keeps saying it over and over. I'm like, please stop. Please stop. But you know what? Van's got our back. He released a song called Up County Down. There was a little crystal there. But Up County Down. Funny, I guess. Get it? It's kind of like I said up, but it's in county down. I'm going
down.
up to county down. Really clever. Really smart. Really smart. You know what the worst part of all is, though? Is music's been really shit. And I'm not even saying it's good now, but it's better. Like, this has got him to a point where
Solid effort.
even though the songs are sort of like, I won't get the vaccination or whatever, I'm like, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Robin's Wow is very dangerous. I just always
He's getting the
scatting.
He's getting the
Featuring Jack
publicity.
Black.
No, that was Scatman John.
Imagine they were all on the same record together.
I'm a scat man. And then Jack Black's like, You're like, what? I don't know, something like that. That's my Jack Black. One person like tuned in right before I made a really loud noise and then immediately tuned out. I just seen a viewer go up and then go down again. I was like,
that's fair.
That is totally fair.
That is fair.
I'll allow
Time to
it.
tune in.
I will allow it. Just you tune into a podcast and hear. It's like, nope. This show is not for me. This show is not for me. Yeah. So moving on. So 5th of July. We'll all look forward to that date.
Fuck yeah! Unless it
whenever-
gets pushed back again.
Who knows? Who knows? We must exterminate the Delta variant. Tyler, the Creator, he's releasing a new record. Just move on when it gets awkward.
Where's
Tyler,
the crickets? You not got a soundboard?
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that
He doesn't do that for
Chris.
himself.
There it is. Keep forgetting that I have crickets, boys. Oh man, that sounded like an STD or something. I've got crickets. Look, I know we've been together for a couple of years, but I need to tell you something. I have crickets. That's probably funnier if you're on audio. That wasn't funny right here. Yeah, so Tyler, the Creator, I don't know if you guys have been seeing his little
Rollout.
his album rollout, his little shorts. Not like he's wearing little shorts or something, but like
Although he probably is wearing golf shorts.
It just
Which
sounded
is
really,
clothing made
really
golf
strange of me to be like, "Have you guys seen his little shorts?" I'm like,
I've
no.
heard he has. I've heard he has crickets. It's a medical condition. Those are medical grade shorts.
I've got crickets. Damn. I've got 3rd stage crickets. Terminal crickets. No. Tyler the Creator. He's releasing these little like short movie things. Kind of like what he did with Igor, where it's like it's not even like the full song. It's like these videos that are maybe only like 1 minute or 2 minutes long. They're really cool though. I'm really enjoying it. He released that one for Lumberjack.
Yeah.
And we talked about that last week. So there's been 2 more since then. One was called What's Your Name, which the song on that sounds so good. That's my favorite so far.
Yeah.
And then there's one that I'm gonna forget the name of. Oh God, what's it called?
That was
it's
only
like
recent. Where he literally calls the lady, "Are you dumb?"
yes, yeah. It this one isn't even a song. It's just like a little short skit, and it's like it's called like something like brown sugar poached salmon or something random like that. I can't remember. But it's just him in like this train cart, and he's like he has two specials on the menu, and he's trying to order any of them, and they keep saying like, I'm gonna have to check if we have that. And it's just this really stupid little short, but it's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean,
brown sugar salmon.
Brown sugar salmon. That's not bad for like watching it once. I kind of remember. I added poached. What did I say? Brown sugar poached salmon?
Yeah.
Just threw poached in there.
Brown sugar salmon, and his other one was What's Your Name?
What's Your Name?
Yeah.
What's Your Name is my favorite because the song is so good. I'm excited for that. Whatever the full version of that is, very excited for it. Very chill. But yeah, the little skit, the most recent one, is pretty funny. You should go and watch it. And he's just continuing that rollout for Call Me If You Get Lost, which is seems to be the title of the album. We're assuming.
Oh, this Friday.
This Friday coming out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, man, I'm excited. He like I say, he done the same thing with Igor, and it's like you got so much content, but it was all so short. It was like only little snippets of songs. It was like I remember the one for New Magic Wand, and he released this video. It was just called like Magic Wand. It was just that one snippet of the song where he says it over and over again. Yeah. It wasn't even the whole song. And I was like, man, the song's awesome, even though it's 20 seconds. And then it turned out to be like way longer than that.
I think Igor. I think this album will be like a standard. Like people, what they expect from Tyler. I think Igor was such a shift with his persona and that and everything that will probably get more attention than this one.
Probably. I mean, at the same time, I stand by what I said last week, which is upon listening to the first track, now that I've heard a little bit more of it, I really feel like this is some sort of middle ground for Tyler, the Creator, where it's like it's combining the stuff from Igor, Flower Boy, and Wolf, like all together, where it's like kind of this. I don't know. I feel like he's starting to refine what he's going for, because it's like where he started out was like so dark, like this dark sort of horror rap, and then Flower Boy was like the complete polar opposite to that, to be like, look, that's not what I'm about like all the time. And then Igor was like, whoa, what's this? Like I don't even understand what I'm listening to. And then this record, I just think it's gonna be, here's a culmination of all three. Here's like an evolution of Tyler the Creator. I don't know. That's my opinion on it. From listening to two tracks, but I just feel like we're going there, where it's gonna have some of the grittiness and the rawness of the production that Wolf had. But it's also gonna have like that sort of, I don't know, that's just out there craziness of like Igor.
Well, Lumberjack had a sample from the RZA's group from back in the 90s, Gravediggers. That's the sample from. Oh, it's almost like a Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Type deal.
Is that pre-Wu-Tang? Would that be?
I think it was either that or during, or maybe because of the Ace kind of split into group. But that's the sample. It's called 2 Cups of Blood, is what the song's called.
Ooh, that's pretty.
That's
cool,
where that's where the sample comes from on that song. So there's the RZA, the RZA group.
And that's like
project or something.
I was gonna say anything RZA does though automatically kind of goes dark for me. I always think it's something kind of I very much see him and Tyler in that same arena, like for sure.
Yeah. But the fact that Tyler the Creator has reached the point where he released that last week or the week after, and he's like, yeah, my album's dropping in 2 weeks. And it's like, he's the type of artist that can do that. Just like no major rollout, his rollout is the week of.
And his rollout is good. I mean, I think he's almost like he is at the forefront of like modern marketing. Like I really feel this, and I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to talk
He's the
about it.
Kanye of this.
He is of marketing because he's like, take Igor, right? I know we've only seen a part of this album rollout, but Igor was the same, and it was kind of short-lived because people have these short attention spans. The videos were like 20 to 30 seconds, so bizarre, but kind of created a bit of a narrative. And he's doing the same thing with this, where it's just like, what was that? And you can go back and watch it because it only lasts like a minute, if even. These new ones are actually slightly longer than the Igor ones. They're like 2 minutes maybe. Yeah. But it's not like I have to watch a 5-minute song, which sounds like so... I mean, so first world problems. Annoying. Like, yeah, I know it sounds so annoying to say, but it's like people, the attention span is so quick. It's like, he's smart. It's like this, God, man, 1 minute, 2 minute video, not the whole song, but something that just creates this like atmosphere of what's coming. Because it does very much seem like this weird Call Me If You Get Lost. There's a lot of suitcases in things. It's kind of like traveling or running away type deal. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm excited to hear what the narrative of this album is, but it seems like the aesthetic is kind of like, I need to get away.
But I get what you mean with that, and I agree with that. But I also still think this is Tyler just being him. Like, just his normal self. Not a character like Igor, which he probably, will maybe do again, but not.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a character, but I do think he very much. I think he's very much a conceptual. He's a conceptual artist. Yeah. I don't think he will ever sort of just randomly drop an album with a bunch of singles on it. He's not that guy, and
it's like not just lyrically the songs mean stuff, but also he's always thinking about visuals
it's a package,
and narrative in like whatever visuals come out. Like if there's a story or something, it all seems to tie in together.
I think you can just see it straight away in something. Yeah, like The Weeknd. It's something where if you can see something reoccurring, you're like, okay, this is more than just like. I like the look of this. Yeah. So like the suitcases for Call Me If You Get Lost, and really the title itself really seems like this sort of like, I don't know until I listen to the record. I don't know what the narrative's going to be, but it does seem like this sort of like running away, like, trying to get away from everything that you've known or your problems or whatever. But, I don't really know what the culmination of that record would be. The name sort of makes me think, like, there's always people there for you. I don't know if it'll go that way. That seems nice, but who knows?
Do you know what the cover just... See, as soon as I seen the cover for that album, it just reminded me, I was like, oh, this is like ODB. Just going back to the Wu-Tang thing. It's like Old Dirty Bastards album cover.
Yeah.
Like, this is the driving license.
Yep. I totally get that.
Or his welfare card or whatever it was.
But it's like, it's just, he's been using so much like traveling imagery, like he's on a train or he has a suitcase or he has all these bags with him. It's always a thing of like, he's trying to take all this stuff with him. And I'm like, there's something definitely there that he's trying to communicate through the videos. But I think I would need to hear it before I started trying to really break that down because I don't know what it is yet. Goes,
it was just...
See, that's my favorite kind of artist, is like where he like just don't give me the whole thing. Just let me nitpick over it. And then,
no, he's good. He'll let us work it out for ourselves. And there's certain people like that. Like, I mean, just, Kanye as somebody that we talk about on here all the time.
What the fuck was that? Kanye?
He's somebody that does this constantly. I mean, he's somebody that people think he just releases and random old shit, but his records are always like a scrapbook moment of his life. Like, he gives so much away from an album every single time, and I think people, because like he's so mental and so like outspoken, they miss the mark. But you could listen to his first album to his most recent and just see this like see the storyline of his life. I mean, there's like Jesus is like whenever he was completely, he had just released My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which was pretty much his Hey, This Is Why People Love Me record after the Taylor Swift debacle. He released a record that was so good that people were like, it's fine, Kanye. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Because it was so damn good. And then he releases Jesus, which is like the polar opposite afterwards, which is just this whole story about how he's just like consumed by debauchery, sleeping with women. He knows that the lifestyle's bad, but he just keeps doing it. And then he meets Kim Kardashian, and it changes his life. And that's kind of the story of Jesus. And then the life of Pablo, like the cover itself shows you, it's like either a group of people getting married or a big ass on the beach. Like those are the two photographs, and it says which one on it. And it's kind of like, I got to decide whether to be a family man or keep doing what I'm doing. And it's like every record has a story. As much as people want to think he's an idiot, he's not. He's a very smart man. A genius, if he was to tell you. But he is a very smart man, and he's very conceptual in nature. But
just to go off on a tangent,
because
you were saying about Tyler the Creator's marketing and stuff. It's like not having to listen to like a full 3-minute song and stuff.
Imagine.
That's so super stressful. I just wanted to mention this on the podcast because I haven't got talking to you about this yet. I don't know if you're aware or not. Do you know that Bombay Bicycle Club have recently released a song with Flight, and it's like 16 minutes long?
It's a cover. It's a cover.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, of the Grateful Dead. And it's, you know what, I meant to talk about this ages ago, is like one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life. Because I am such a huge Bombay Bicycle Club fan, and I adore Flight, and I've talked about them on the show like constantly.
How do those guys even know each other?
How do they know each other?
Did it blow your mind?
It did blow my mind, and I was like, and they covered the Grateful Dead? Ah! I was like, that was me listening to it. I was just like, couldn't even contain myself. But yeah, it was like 16 minutes. Grateful Dead cover. Terrapin Station. If you know the record, you know it. But it's the
we'll not go on about
that.
it too much because I did talk about this for a podcast episode one time, and maybe we could do this like in more detail one week. Like your most favorite like songs, lengthy songs. You know, like over, I don't know, like what would you classify as like over 6 minutes is maybe starting to verge on lengthy?
Probs.
Yeah, I feel like there's a full podcast worth of chat and discussion, and we could like trade songs if you guys hadn't heard ones that like I'd listened to, or the other way around. Or
what if the song was in parts, but it's titled Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Nope, that's a card's way out.
Yeah,
that is a card's way out.
Because it has to be
really
daunting.
feel that way.
Yeah, it has to be daunting to the listener by they look at the track length and they go, "Oh shit, I don't know if I'm down for that."
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Because "Shine on Your Crazy Diamonds" by Pink Floyd is a rather long song.
Yeah.
It is. It's pretty much the record's like one song. You know what I mean? And to be honest, Pink Floyd, you could argue that with a lot of their records, is like it's kind of just one song. But yeah, I feel like it's I mean, I don't like saying about Pink Floyd, but like especially artists today that are doing it, there's like they do, you know, they'll have one title and be like Part 1, Part 2, and it's like, you coward. Put them all in one part. Put it all in one track and
see how many people will listen to it.
Yeah. See if I listen to it then when it's 20 minutes. Yeah, I respect you more for that. And I feel like I'm maybe bring this out too early before we would actually talk about it, but you know, like the one thing I would probably jump straight in there to talk about is David Bowie releasing Black Star. And I mean, it's very sad knowing where he was at in his life, because the song is long and it's too long for radio. But I remember just reading the radio article being like, he told radio stations, you either play it all or you don't play it. Like, that's full stop. It's like, you won't get the song unless you play it in its entirety. There's no radio edit. And I read it before it came out, and I was like, man, he's so badass. I did not know at the time that he's like, you know, I don't give a shit anymore, because I'm dying. And that's really
people
upsetting.
Will hear it anyways, whether it's played on the
just
radio
like,
or not.
This will be historic whether you play it or not. But, you know, radio played it because they're like, it's David Bowie, and you do what David Bowie says. So, I mean, that's one of the ones, Black Star is like, man, that song never gets old for me. I don't even know how long it is. It feels like it's 2 minutes long, but it's probably like 7 or 8 or something. But it's an awesome song, and I love that he did that with radio, which a lot of people don't do. Usually they're deep cuts on a record. And he was like, if Radio Play wants this, I will not be... He was like my first single off of Black Star. And he's like, if people want the new David Bowie single, they're going to have to play it in its entirety. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool, dude. But yeah, that for sure would be my pick. Right, we'll do a quick little commercial break, and then we'll get into a couple things.
You might have to give me a slightly longer commercial break if I'm going to make it up to my toilet, because I'm
toilet
at the
break.
minute. I'm like a pirate.
He's got a force a pee. One of those.
No, it's nothing to do with forcing. It's not my crickets or my medical condition. I don't have to force out a pee. I'm hobbling at the minute.
Yes, I will tell you what, Michael. Right, Money Michael. You get a head start. You start going now. I'll let people know what happened.
Okay.
And
I want to know what happened because I don't know, but I do need a pee. But I need to know.
Oh,
I have a
before I go, Andy says he wants to know what happened. I'll
Yeah.
hold on a second. You can tell him. I'll just send you a picture of what happened.
Oh God, I don't want to. Don't send me a picture of it because I don't want to see it.
Well, it's going in the group chat.
Oh no.
There you go, guys.
Is this,
It probably doesn't actually even look that bad, but I should put my other foot beside it to show how small that foot is, because it looks like a hobbit foot. It looks like a big, gigantic ankle foot. But anyways, you explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So look, Mike doesn't really want to talk about it much, but he's had his second vaccine and he wasn't convinced that it was enough, so he went to Boots, he asked for a third vaccine, and they're like, man, we can't do this, and he just grabbed it off the pharmacist's hand and just shoved it in his fucking foot like a lunatic, and his foot swole up like the
Uma
size
Thurman in Pulp Fiction.
Yep. And it's like 3 times the size, and it's just full of that good vaccine juice. He heard it playing basketball.
With the... Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I actually don't know the full story, but my understanding is that our friend Curtis fell on him.
You mean the group that thinks that an NBA player getting literally punched in the face is okay? Oh, what a shock!
That's a good game, my friend. That is a good game. You want, if you don't watch an NBA playoff game and both men are bleeding from the nose, then what's happening? By the way, that happened
if you're
last
not
night.
Devin Booker with a nose like
Devin Booker and Pat Beverly, like, man, both of them had nosebleeds because they butted heads like last night. I don't know. I'm getting my nights mixed up.
But even when Jokic like went to purposely slam down out of frustration.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's fine. I'm like, oh, that's why people get injured when you play basketball together.
I shared my thoughts in the group on that. Although I know we're going off into a whole basketball thing, but I know from watching it, look, if you are gonna pull your arm back, the minute you pull your arm back in the NBA, no matter what you do afterwards, if you're trying to block, it's always looked at as intent, because it's like you wind up and then you slapped. It's like if you're trying to block, it's a straight up movement. You don't put power back and then go forward, because that's
especially
how people
when
get
you charge at him like frustration because you've just got it all stole from you.
Yeah, he was clearly annoyed as well, which didn't help. But I mean, that's how people end up winding up a punch inadvertently. But yeah, Mike has a COVID foot. Is what I'm saying.
But although I want to know which group chat he sent it to, because I still don't have it.
My phone's on flight mode because I don't want to see it.
That's what I'm saying. So... I don't have it. So he must have sent it to some chat, not ours.
He probably sent it to like a work group chat or something, and it's just like people are just like in the work group chat being like, what the fuck am I looking at? Somebody's big old COVID foot.
Like, what is this? Right, anyway, I need to pee. Roll the ads.
Roll the commercial breaks.
Hey there, fresh-faced creative in a youthful advertising demographic. Does your reading material have a distinct lack of cultural nourishment for your slowly decaying, malnourished soul? Stop! Put that garbage down. Everyone knows you shouldn't get your news from old mediums like paper. That's 2/8 century. Plug into the information superhighway, loser, and read a zine. It's like a magazine, but without all that dumbass paper. Read Stranger Days, the arts and culture easy. It's got music, comedy, art, poetry, tarot cards, cinema, year spaceship, comics, podcasts, and Jim Carrey. Read Stranger Days now, because between you, me, and your trusty canine companion, we know fluffy cuddles and e-zines are the only way to push back the existential dread slowly consuming your every waking moment. Pull back the darkness today with Stranger Days. Available now at strangerdays.wordpress.com.
If you want to wrap your ears around all the music we've been talking about on the podcast, we run a special playlist over on Spotify. It's called Distant Sound Waves. Here over at Six Set Bro, we always thought, well, what's the gosh darn point of doing a music podcast if you can't let people hear any music? There is a whole lot of legal mumbo-jumbo and copyright issues that prevent us from actually doing that on the pod. So we thought that was a pretty good compromise. We make a playlist and it gets updated every single month. On the playlist, we have things like all the new singles from local homegrown talent that we've talked about. Maybe some of the bigger artists that we've had conversations about, we'll put those guys on there. Or maybe it's just something new that we stumbled across and we've been talking about on the podcast. It is all there. You can find Distant Sound Waves by searching for it on Spotify, or you can find the links all over our social medias. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Could y'all hear me pooping?
No.
Yeah, I'd like to hope I didn't in that amount of time. Dropped a quick deuce in the garden. Yeah, it always reminds me whenever we run the commercials as well. So, Distant Sound Waves, like, we say in the ad, it's a playlist, and currently the playlist that we're running has our top 15 tracks that we picked live on this show based on 50 episodes of Six Set Bro. We sort of done on the 50th episode a little bit of a celebration and tried to pick the 15 tracks that stayed with us the longest throughout this run. So you check that out if you go on our Instagram, link in bio, as they say. And yeah, also I wanted to just give a shout out to Stranger Days, which is someone that we've been promoting in here for a while, but they just turned a little baby 1-year-old very recently, like a couple of days ago. They just turned 1, so good job, Stranger Days.
Clap it up.
Future of the music scene.
It is the electronic magazine. Stupid.
I just
paper.
mean those guys in general, like whatever they do, they like the work ethic is undeniable, and
they put so much effort into it. And you should subscribe to Stranger Days on Instagram. Not just us. As good as we are, we're not the only ones. There's other good people out there too. So anyway, it's a little tidbit just following on from the Tyler Creator thing that I think is stupid, but I'll maybe mention it real quick. Did y'all hear Billie Eilish got some backlash, which to be fair is probably like some of the first backlash I've actually heard directed at her for something really stupid. So like, bearing in mind, how old is that girl? What is she, like 19 or 20 now? She's really young.
I think she's
right?
20 something.
I think I heard a little bit about
she's like
this,
20.
but, yeah.
So like, people like, there was a video resurfaced of her. I don't know if it's from Twitter, Instagram, or whatever. She must have been like 13 or something in the video, because I mean, like, how much history can this girl have at this point? But it's like one where she's mouthing the lyrics to a Tyler the Creator song, and it's like it has I can't even remember what the line was. Not that I would repeat it on show anyway, but it sort of had a slur in it or something, and I'm just like, what? Are we mad at that? Is that, first of all, if we're mad at anyone, it's Tyler, the Creator, right? I was like, but we're mad at Billie Eilish because whenever she was 13 years old, she recorded a video where she was mouthing along to the song. Oh, Billie Eilish, you're a bad person. You're a bad
Stupid
person.
child, you shouldn't have the internet.
Oh my goodness. Like, can people do anything anymore? Good question. And the answer is no, we can't. No. I just thought that was, if you haven't seen that, man, it's so dumb. And then off the back of that, somebody tried to say, like, they tried to like start circulating this other video where they thought she was like imitating an Asian person, but she tried to say like, I was literally talking gibberish. If anything, it was probably racist of the person. I thought it was someone trying to imitate an Asian person.
Yeah.
I'm like, she was like, I literally just made up a bunch of words and was trying to speak gibberish just to be like weird or whatever. But I just feel bad. It's like that. She went on and made a full-scale apology for something that, in my opinion, she should never have to apologize for, because she's kind of like, it was unacceptable and all this, even though I would say, like, I wasn't aware of what, that could cause at that age. And she's like, it still doesn't excuse it. I was like, yeah, it does. It does.
But this is the thing. This is what you do now. Just apologize and move on, because that seems to be what the mobs want.
I know, and they're like, well,
as say sorry. Yeah.
It was a pretty good apology.
As long as we feel that we have told you off appropriately and you have acknowledged us, we're happy. That's fine.
How many times do you just want to
carry on with your life?
How many times do you just want to say to like the world, pick your battles, pick your battles? Billie Eilish.
I thought you were gonna do a call back to Smarten Up Dumbass. Why can't you just be normal?
Why can't you just be normal, world? Good. Hey, me over here, I'm normal. I'm a normal guy. You know what I do? I go to work. I make as much money as I can. Provide for my family. I love them. And I kind of just do that. And I watch TV. And I eat food. And I poop. And I pee. And I just a
sometimes
normal...
make music.
Sometimes make... That's kind of like an extra thing. Not everybody has to do that. But y'all gotta poop and pee. You gotta love your family. You don't gotta, but you should. Can't pick them. But wish you could. This is like freaky beatnik poetry. I feel like I'm coming out with some crazy good insights right now. But you know what? Just be normal.
Yeah.
Is all I'm asking. But also, pick your battles. Billie Eilish.
I feel like
probably
we're
not a
kind of
big
like
target.
Sesame Street at the minute. It's like educational program.
Kids,
be normal.
Pick your battles and be normal.
Battles.
Pick your battles. Probably North Korea. That's a battle. That's a battle, my friend. You don't want to live under those strict conditions. Billie Eilish mouthing to a song, not a battle. Probably just leave that one alone. Probably just like be like, you know what? Not a big deal. North Korea, that's a big deal. That's a big problem. That's an issue that we should probably care more about. Just be normal, guys. Just be normal. Anyways. So in also super annoying news, Logic came out of retirement, I guess.
I feel like it's Hulk Hogan all over again.
Dude, I want to... You know what? You fans out there, go find the clip, because I'm pretty sure we did an episode where I was like, Logic's retiring, but I don't think it's going to last very long. And it didn't, because it didn't even last one entire year. July 2020, I believe, is whenever he's like, I'm retiring from music. But... And this was the part that I was like, straight away, I didn't believe it, but I believe it even less. Whenever he's like, I'll still make music.
Yeah, because he's doing the Twitch thing as well.
It's like, I'm retiring, but I'll still make stuff. Don't worry. I'm just not going to worry too much about deadlines, is what I'm trying to say.
As stupid as all this is, and, like, I'll admit it, 100% stupid, the whole retirement and then coming back out thing. If because I wasn't aware of this until you guys linked me into like the news stories and stuff, and then I read his reasoning behind it, and I kind of get that, which you're probably gonna go into here, are you? Like his quotes on it and stuff.
Well,
like,
to be honest,
I get
right,
it. It was just a stupid way to do it, but I kind of get where he's coming from.
Like, I just know that, and I'll be honest, maybe you've read more quotes than me. I knew more about it at the time. Whenever I heard he was coming back, I didn't even look that much into it, because I'm like, yeah, I know. Because you never left, right? Can we just look at somebody like Kendrick Lamar that has about a 5-year rollout for a record that he's working on? Logic was away for less than a year, and he retired. He had an album that came out in July 2020, he retired, and now he's back with a new single. Less than a year. Like, most people don't release that quickly. And it's like you had a full retirement in between that. And then,
to me,
the thing is, right, sorry, and I know I'm going off here, but, right, think about how long he would have had to have been working on new music. If he has a new album coming out, it's not like he just, recorded it and wrote it, like, last week. So he retired in July 2020. He must have started working again by August 2020.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he did clearly.
That's what I was
gonna
say. It's bound to be. I don't know if I've seen it exactly, but it's bound to be like a band memes thing or something like that. It's the need to constantly be saying stuff on socials, if you know what I mean. So like, as you say, like Kendrick has been fairly silent for like 5 years, and it's like he could. We know he's not going to, but he could turn around and announce a new album, or he could announce his retirement whenever he's actually thought about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that need to be constantly like, oh, well, I've put out this album, and then it's like, oh, I need to say something, but I don't have any more music to say it with, so I'll just type words and stuff. But the comment that I seen was, and it's a weird way to go about doing it, but if this is his reasoning, I kind of understand. He said he tried to clarify the retirement by saying that it's not making music that he's sick of, it's the industry that he's sick of. So whenever he said he was retiring from the music industry per se. He was never going to be able to stop making music, and I think he said that he actually said that whenever he announced the retirement, like he will always be making music. So yeah, he did.
But right, so here's the thing I would argue, for all intents and purposes, yes, he did retire, and he said he made a point at the time of saying, exactly what you said there, the quote, like, I'm retiring for the music industry, not for music. He's like, I won't be able to stop making music, but he's like, I'm not going to be really making it for like a label or under deadlines, but I still want to have fun. I can't stop creating. I'm just that type of person. I was like,
that's why he signed a Twitch deal.
Yeah, 100%. And he did Twitch like all the time after that, and it brought people to that because they're like, oh, this is what he's doing now. But the point that I guess I say frustrates me, I really don't care, because I quite like Logic. He gets more hate than I think he deserves. I think he's actually a really good artist, and it's just my opinion. He gets a lot of hate and a lot of trash.
Maybe he can vary what he raps about. But...
yeah, I mean, it's mostly about how his dad's black, so that makes him black, but he's definitely not because he's white. And
I've never given him a chance, to be honest. The only Logic I've heard is anything that you guys have played for me in
he's
conversation.
Actually really good. And look, even if I know it seems a bit backwards because usually you want to go to the old stuff, but a great place to start is actually the last record, which was so good. Like the No Pressure record, which is the whole idea was meant to be no pressure because I'm retiring because I don't care anymore. And the whole vibe throughout that whole thing was like, it's fine because I'm not going to be doing this. And I actually think it made for a better album. Anyways, the thing that annoyed me more is, like, it's fine if he wants to keep releasing. I expected him to keep releasing, and he did. But he he put up a post that was the... I apologize, I've been coughing all day. COVID.
You got your vaccine?
No, my throat's been really dry. I am drinking enough water. Too much Heineken. Yeah, so he released the little promo to say that there would be a single coming out, and it was a complete emulation of whenever Michael Jordan said he was coming out of retirement. Yeah. So it was like this little post, and it was like the whole thing where it has this massive official statement, you know, from the offices of whoever, right, like his manager and stuff, and then it's just a quote from Logic saying, "I'm back," and that's exactly what Michael Jordan did whenever he returned from retirement, and it's kind of like, okay, you're making like a real big deal about returning from retirement, which you said wasn't a full retirement anyway, and it's like you're really playing into the fact that you retired. So I mean, he knows he knows what he's doing.
And people are asking for Michael Jordan to come back.
Yeah, that's a bad idea, man.
I don't know if I was asking for Logic to come back. As good as he is, that's what I meant.
I just didn't. Look, I never believed it was a retirement anyway. I just never believed it.
I never do. Look at Jay-Z. He had the big Madison Square Garden thing, I'm retiring, then came back with Kingdom Come. And then...
Lupe Fiasco. He's retired
Exactly.
10 times over.
Exactly.
And it's never takes. I never believe it.
Maybe it's just a thing, again. I was trying to think of the positive side of it. Maybe these guys have to do that because they are so big. It's like, look, I'm retiring. Do not contact me about music stuff because they probably have people torturing them constantly.
I just think it's just hard to do. Like, if you think, just to bring it down to like this level, Stu can't go a year without making a song.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like any of those guys, no matter what scale or anything, like we're talking about Jay-Z and stuff, is like if you retire, whatever, you won't be able to stop making
It's like, what
music.
do you do?
It's like, yeah, if you're built that way, it's a little thing in your head that just I gotta keep doing that.
I totally get it, and I think it comes and goes. It's like sort of thing where, you know, there's a lot of other factors in my life at the minute where I'm so busy that like music is not really there in the forefront as much as I would like it to be. There's stuff that I know I have all these ideas for, but I even tried to sit out and like make music recently, and I was like, there's too much. I need time to relax. I need a break, man. Maybe I'm just too burnt out from it all, and it's like I need to be okay to give myself a break. But in your head, you're like, I'm done with all this. Like you go extremes, and you're just like either you're creative, like manically creating, or you're like, I'm done with music altogether. It's like you can't just live with
eventually you know yourself though, and you're like, I know this is what I do. Because the funny thing is, like, I can't make that comparison with music because I feel like I'm not full on muso person. Like I have dabbled, but I do have comparisons with like drawing and stuff. Like creativity in general, I think, is peaks and troughs, and it's like you just have to roll with it when you feel it, and like whenever you don't beat yourself up about it, sort of thing. Or if it's not working, or if you try and force yourself, like sometimes that as well. I tell myself too, is like sit down and for the first 5 minutes try something, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But don't be annoyed at yourself if it doesn't. But it's always worth sitting down to try and do something, because sometimes you have like a night where you get like so zoned in on something. I'm talking more about drawing now because that's what I do more than the music stuff or whatever. But it's like sometimes you'll sit down and it's like, just give myself the first 5 minutes. And like if it doesn't work, you get annoyed, and it's like, I need to know myself. And it's like it will eventually come. Some night I'll be in the mood for it and it'll work. And then other times you force yourself to sit down for 5 minutes. And you get a night where you like have music on and you're sitting drawing away, and it's like you lose about 2-3 hours or whatever. It like just disappears. And I imagine any type of creativity is that way, like music is as well. And it's like you can't really control it. It is peaks and troughs, and you just kind of have to go with it whenever it comes, sort of thing.
Totally. Yeah, man. That's it. And I just think with a lot of creatives, definitely musicians, a lot of musicians that I've spoken to, it's like, because they're emotionally extremists, so it does feel like you gotta either go like, I'm all in, baby, or I give up forever with my life and everything about it, and you'll never see me again. It's gotta be one or the other, and then you just keep flip-flopping back between the two, and you're like, hey, I'm just like this. Just be normal. Like 10, just be normal, guys.
10 creative people at a poker table. First hand, all in,
baby. Or one person, I'm never playing poker again. Never, and I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself right now at this table. Man, they're so extreme. They're intense people, musicians.
But I think,
you know what?
Musicians never really retire anyway. So.
Yeah, no, they not. The Rolling Stones, they're like 500 years old. They're like wizards.
They use retires almost become like the marketing thing, but yeah.
And then we go on a reunion tour. And makes a bunch of money.
Is that the Jean-Ralphio from Parks and Rec?
Yeah,
That was very close.
Reunion tour.
Remember Dave Chappelle retired for like 10 years.
Yep. He came back.
Speaking of Dave Chappelle, did you
better.
see him fucking sing Creep with the Foo Fighters?
Not yet, but I did
On
see
Madison
the news
Square
story,
Garden?
and I was like, I do want to see that.
No, I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah,
Holy
I seen,
shit.
I seen
He
the
sang-
news story. I didn't get to actually see in the clip yet.
Sorry, can we just go back? He sang "Creep,"
Yeah.
the Radiohead song,
Yeah.
with the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Yep.
At Madison Square Garden, it was the first concert at Madison Square Garden since COVID.
Dave Grohl and
Man,
Tom
it
York
sounds-
were trying to do something to raise money or
Yeah.
something, weren't they?
It was good though. I mean, it's Dave Chappelle doing Creep. It's obviously the guy can't sing,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah, as you will know from the Chappelle show,
great.
anytime he had a musical guest on and tried to sing along with them.
Oh, man. No, it's just man. It sounds like a dream I had or something. It's just like Dave Grohl was on stage at Madison Square Garden with Dave Chappelle, and,
and
they
he
were singing
he
"Creep"
brought him
by
out as a
Radiohead.
surprise. Yeah, it was like,
And
and
it's
everyone
like-
just went absolutely wild. It was great.
It
Seen
just
on
sounds like
Instagram.
someone describing a dream. So it's really confusing. Man,
Do you know what's not a
Tom
dream?
York hates that song too. Sorry.
Do you know what's not a dream? Maybe you can bring it up next week, but it'll be too late because people will probably watch it by then. So there was a YouTube or TikTok boxing match last weekend. And now, these are clearly very young audience. It's a very young audience. DJ Khaled came out and tried to
Khaled.
rap All I Do Is Win. And oh my God.
Wow.
If you want...
Wow,
I mean,
wow,
fair
wow.
play for DJ Khaled to truck on, but every time you know when you want the crowd to finish the sentence,
Yeah.
he's like, "All I do is win, win." There was nothing. It's the best cringe video. Exactly. That would actually be more noise than there actually was, and it
Yeah.
was a crowd full of people.
Sorry, was this I only caught the end of that there. Like, did you say, was this the TikTokers versus YouTubers boxing?
It was like
match?
a boxing event
Yeah.
thing.
I remember that happening, which was stupid, but they all made a bunch of money.
Yeah, but they brought out DJ Khaled and just...
I didn't know
because-
that happened. That's
Oh.
hilarious. Another one. I really want to soundbite DJ Khaled and just have another one on here.
Nobody knows the words and nothing.
We the best
Here.
music.
I was looking up that I've ended up on a tangent while you guys are going on tangents, but I was looking up the Foo Fighters Dave Chappelle news story, but then it also reminded me of another recent Foo Fighters news story. Did you guys see that they announced a new disco album under the moniker the DGs?
No.
No.
Yes.
Dare.
Yeah. I seen that headline. I didn't click into it, but yeah, it's on
Is this
NME
gonna be
as well.
like everything that Dave Grohl does,
No,
where it's like, we
dude,
released a new disco album, and it's like,
I'm sending
it
you
sounds
the
like
picture.
every
They're
Foo
like
Fighters song
they're dressed
ever.
like them.
That does-
Now, are you going to send a picture like you sent your foot picture? Where none of
did
us
you
got
not get it?
We never got
Did you,
that. yeah.
did you not get it? Oh,
We
okay.
we suspected that you sent it to a work group chat.
Yeah,
And they're all like, "What?
Yeah.
We got Mike's
Who
foot."
did I send that to?
Ah!
I just don't think it went.
Ah, dude.
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna send you quickly in succession the picture of my mangled foot and a picture of the DGs.
The DGs.
So-
I'm not really.
I don't. Tell me which one you guys like better.
The foot, without even seeing.
Ah.
Without even seeing, it's the foot. I don't know. I mean, Dave Grohl tried to say that the last record that they did had David Bowie elements. I was like, not didn't. Just kind of sounded like Foo Fighters, man. Foo Fighters have unveiled their new musical direction, transforming from stadium rock heroes to a Bee Gees tribute band for their next album. As the DGs, a nod to frontman Dave Grohl's initials. Yeah, I got that. The band will release an LP including 4 Bee Gees covers. There you go.
Yeah, so that's a thing.
So, yeah, they'll be covering the Bee Gees, I guess. Cool.
Oh,
So what do you think? My foot or the DGs?
Your foot does look kind of brutal.
Yeah. You know what I really feel like I missed out on? The time is gone. The time has gone. But I really liked how Andy started a sentence with, you know what's not a dream? And I kind of feel like that was like Martin Luther King Jr.'s follow-up. You know, like, that was the second half that nobody remembers.
Yeah, he had that line loaded up.
Yeah, and he's like, but you know what's not a dream? YouTubers versus TikTok. It just, yeah, I love stuff like that. Man, I use that joke anytime something with dreams comes up, to be honest. I'll just be completely forward with you. There was something my wife said recently where she said something like, and you know what was another dream of mine? And I was like, second part to Martin Luther King's speech. And another dream? Spider was chasing me, and it was giant, and it had the head of Bill Gates. Just like, yeah, they cut that part. They cut that part for time.
Oh, dreams.
Dreams.
Always remember that. Fuck it, don't matter.
Dreams come true. Sorry.
The one dream I remember where it involved a New York taxi, Roger the Rabbit, and Shawn Michaels.
I know that dream. You have told me.
Kid Rock, sorry.
Oh
wasn't
my
Shawn Michaels,
God!
it was
Sweet
Kid
chin
Rock.
music, sweet chin music, Roger Rabbit.
It was Kid Rock.
If only Shawn Michaels was there. Could have Sweet Chin Music you back to a woken state.
Yes.
What a guy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was talking about dreams recently, and I am the most boring dreamer of all time. Most of the time, I don't dream, and when I do, the dreams that I bring to the table are the worst. They're just like,
I was in work, and then I woke up, and then I had to go to work.
Yeah, which is it's the most depressing thing ever. I actually told Mike, the most recent dream I can remember, I was telling him and his girlfriend Jade about this. I was like, I had a dream that we had to get you guys to go and do shopping for us, and you guys went, and I pointed out like a spicy mayo sauce that I needed, but you guys for some reason kept calling it Southwest sauce, but I was like, it's not Southwest sauce, it's spicy mayo. And then you guys went, and you're like, don't worry, we'll get all this stuff. And you went to do the shopping, and you took forever to come back. Then you came back, and you're like, man, we had to go all over for that Southwest sauce. And I was like, it's not Southwest sauce, it's spicy mayo.
Why can't you just be normal?
That was the dream, guys. And that was like the most normal dream I ever had. And that's most of them. It's most of them.
Yeah, exciting.
I'm not very inventive in my dreams. They're kind of just super boring things. I wish my mom would be a little more creative. To be like, damn, I'm frustrated I didn't even get the thing that I needed in this dream.
Oh, do you think people that are multilingual dream in other languages?
Yes.
That would be weird.
Like, say if you're like, take me for instance. I have never in my dreams heard Portuguese being spoken.
You see, I find it odd because I've definitely seen that people say that, but I know that's hard to explain. But I just believe that dream language is not. I say this as a person who doesn't.
That's how you know you're in a dream, dude. As soon as you open a book, if the letters are all jumbled, it's like, nope, dreaming.
That's a dream. That's a dream.
Let it start floating off the page.
Yeah, just watch out for that.
I just feel like, right, if I had to get all psychological about it, if I was to speak multiple languages, I just fully believe that although people could come out and be like, I dreamt in Spanish, I don't think that they necessarily did. I think that they convinced themselves when they woke up, because the minute you wake up, you start transforming parts of what you remember. Like, it immediately becomes super unreliable.
You're not getting the full story.
No.
As soon as you wake up, you're a liar.
Yeah, pretty much. And the thing is, it's not whether you dream in like, obviously 100% of the world doesn't dream in English because they don't speak English. I just mean, like, it's thoughts. It doesn't matter what language it is. You can think something. You can think something that doesn't even have a word because you've seen it before. It's like, you don't need words for it, and it will transfer in your head. You know what you've seen in the dream, but then you could wake up and be like, man, everybody's speaking Spanish in my dream. And it's like, probably weren't, though. Those were just thoughts. Those were just thoughts that you had. I don't know.
You were remembering them in Spanish?
You're remembering things in Spanish. Which would be really cool if I did that. If I remembered the whole...
No, that would be, yeah.
If I told the whole grocery store might go in to get spicy mayo sauce, but, you know, misinterpreting it continually as Southwest sauce.
And
but I was like,
up.
Imagine all that, but it was in Spanish. That would have made it slightly more interesting, but it wasn't. It was just in English, as far as I'm aware, or a special dream language. Last thing I want to go on to here before we wrap this show up. Spotify got a new app. Our guy Andy Nandez, the gamer person.
Here, before we wrap up, you still watching that Portugal game?
It was 2 each.
Go?
It was 2 each. They qualified. It's fine.
2 each.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so
that'll be staying up for a bit longer.
Everybody on this podcast has to support Portugal by proxy, because Nandes. That's it. No questions.
100%. Yeah, old Nandes sent me a little link for something. I hadn't actually seen this before, but Spotify are releasing a new app that seems interesting.
Yeah, so we can probably go more in depth next week with it, but there was an app called Clubhouse, which is essentially a chat room. The likes of Kevin Hart had rooms in there, and it was like a thing that blew up at the start mid of the pandemic.
I just want to ask, because I did read the link that you sent me. Was this the thing that and I don't really know what I feel about that, because I read about it and it was just like, just because you're in a particular room doesn't mean you have those thoughts or feelings. He's like Lakeith Stanfield from Atlanta. Was this the thing that he was involved in? Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was.
Because I really
with some
like
weird
that guy,
sound,
but
yeah,
like
some
I
weird
feel like
sound
he was being basically his character from Atlanta, where he's like,
Yes,
I'm gonna
he's
go
out
into I'm gonna go into like a weird chat room where it's all about like hate and like race hate and stuff, and because they noticed he was there or something, they made him like one of the moderators of the thing, and then people thought that he was actually in charge of it all. And he's like, no, I just wanted to hear what people were saying. Yeah.
So
but this is that thing, right? Yeah.
Clubhouse
was
like that, but you obviously had just like anything, you have the silly side, the toxic side, like Reddit. You know what I mean?
But obviously, hot tub stream side.
Yeah. But people obviously use Clubhouse. Like musicians used it, comedians used it. Like, I think Elon Musk was on one at one point. I'm not sure, but again, this is like a deeper conversation I wanted to go in. Probably not an hour and a half into.
We can talk about this next week for sure.
But so we'll remember that for next week, and I just want to throw in probably for next week as well that is it Meghan Markle? What's her name?
Yeah, Meghan Markle and Harry.
And Harry, fucking Prince Harry.
Prince Jr.
Prince Harry Prince Jr. There, because I read it again. So he got paid $35 million for a Spotify deal.
Mm-hmm.
And how much content have they produced of that deal?
Absolutely,
it's been 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, at the same time, I feel like he can almost hold people to ransom because, you know, he's Harry Prince Jr. And he can do
Could he
whatever
not
the
just,
hell he
like,
wants.
Put the Oprah interview on audio version of Spotify, and that's
he could,
probably
'cause
worth a
he's-
couple of million.
Well, he's meant to be doing a show with Oprah as well, but the thing is, he signed a bunch of deals, so it's not just the Spotify one. It's like, I think there was like, I could be speaking out of turn, but I think there might have been an ITV deal. There's definitely some sort of American TV show deal because he's meant to be doing a show with Oprah. I don't know. There's a bunch of them, and people are just kind of like, man, they are signing a lot of contracts to agree to these things, and I still haven't seen them actually do anything. But at the same time, I'm sure he has like an infinite amount of money that it doesn't really matter, and he is also in the power of being Little Prince Harry Jr., and he can do whatever he wants because people want to hear from him. So it doesn't matter if he takes 5 years to put out the content. I think he's way too big of a personality that you know, it doesn't matter. He can do it whenever he wants. Doesn't matter what the contract says.
So yeah, just quickly on. So the Spotify thing's called Green Room.
Yes, Green Room, Spotify Green Room.
Yeah,
And-
so it's like basically, it's kind of like if we were doing this podcast, but everybody that was listening could also talk,
Could talk, yeah.
which is
so-
weird. I don't know how that works.
So Green Room doesn't have the option to connect like your contacts and stuff like through social. It allows users to connect their YouTube and Twitter profiles, which Clubhouse doesn't. For those, it's for people to create and not just listen. Green Room has the potential to pay you based on commission of your content.
Yeah, I still don't think
consumption
they've
of your
agreed
content.
that yet. Yeah.
So it's
Essentially-
almost like, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say what the thing was that I was reading about it, or what I gathered from it was that it was bought up by Spotify. They're testing it on its own merit. If you go to the site, you can log in with your Spotify account, and it has changed to the same sort of color scheme as if you were navigating your Spotify app.
Yeah.
The end goal might be that they might integrate certain features into Spotify, so it's all just one natural ecosystem. But what you're basically doing is you enter a room and the discussions are meant to be on like music or sports or whatever, and they're calling it, which seems like a slightly weird deviation from podcast. They're calling it social chat.
Yes.
So it's like basically just loads of people pile into a room. I don't understand where you can keep control of a conversation if there's loads of people, but
You can.
that's because I haven't used it. Can you like mute in certain people or
Yes.
whatever? But it sounds kind of like a video chat sort of thing, where it's like people are talking about one subject in a room, and it's like it's a little bit less structured than a podcast.
So,
but essentially,
like-
you're kind of putting out content still.
Like
Yeah.
the explanation I'd have for it, right, is like what you were saying there, Mike, is by my understanding is that Spotify bought over Locker Room, I think it was called, which is the original app, which was this exact same idea, but it was only for sports.
Yeah.
So it is that thing of you have a virtual room or whatever the hell they want to call it, and you can host a room, and you can be the moderator of a room, and you have mute options and moderation controls and the ability to bring listeners like on stage pretty much during a live audio session.
okay.
So it's important
So
to know
like
that
you
this
could
is
have
live
guest
too.
speakers and stuff.
You have
almost
guests,
kinda
but
thing, yeah.
a room can host up to 1,000 people. So it's essentially as if we were running this podcast and we had like 1,000 live views going, and we could just like hand pick somebody out of those 1,000 people and be like, you're now on the show,
Yeah.
blah 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 blah, and then we talk about something and then they go away. So it's almost like people who phone into shows, like live
That's kind of
discussion
interesting.
shows,
Yeah.
but in a way that, one, it's easier. They're there, they don't have to phone in, they're just part of it, and we can handpick people. I say we like as if we're doing it, but you could hand.
It is
pick people
interesting.
out of it.
I was reading it, going like, can we do something in this? But like, I mean,
Well,
we
I
went
thought
all
similar.
in on YouTube stuff. You know what I
We
mean?
kind of have,
And it's
yes.
yeah.
It doesn't mean that we can't try it at some point, because it's one of these things where like you see a new platform, and you're kind of like, the early days will be the Wild West, and people are talking about pay, like how much it pays. Can we get paid? What will it be like? Who knows? Who knows what the future will bring for this? Because they said like Clubhouse had recently launched payments, and it allows users to
Yeah, they were like donations.
They can donate. Yeah. So don't know whether they'll do that with Green Room.
Well, Green Room, I
funds or
think,
what.
has the Green Room has the potential to pay out based on consumption of your content. So
Yes. Yeah. Like depending how much people, but that would be my one worry for
Spotify's going to own it all anyway.
Well, they probably will, but I mean, how much have we talked about how unfairly they kind of pay artists? And I mean, I don't see that being any different, but they're not stupid. They're a service that have realized the potential for podcasting. They've snapped up huge names. I mean, Joe Rogan is just one of them. There's so many podcasts that they're now like, we exclusively own this. So it's like, if you want it, you got to come here. And they're snapping it up, man. It's not just about music anymore and the rights to certain like music labels and trying to get everybody's music on the platform. It's like, oh, we need people's podcasts. We need all the people who want to create and talk about things. They're gonna be on there. Anything audio, Spotify wants it. And
Yeah.
I feel like Spotify are just throwing money out, because half the podcasts, apart from Rogan, half the podcasts that I've listened to don't do anything. They just throw the money out. They have a few episodes and then it's done.
It's hard to know. I mean, I think it's always surprising how many like super successful ones there are. I mean, there was that girl, forget her name, from Barstool Sports, who went
Call
on
her
to
daddy.
do
She got like 60 mil.
Yeah, she got an exclusive deal with Spotify.
Because I heard Dave
recently.
Portnoy talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So she made bank. Spotify snapped her up, and it's kind of like, if you're a significant name, like a podcast that is doing well, Spotify's like, oh, we just buy you up, and you can't go anywhere else. And it's like, they're the Disney of fucking of audio.
Yeah.
So Disney's like, hey, what's that thing? I want it. I'm gonna have it. Spotify's like, what's that sound? I own that now. I will pay you $5 billion.
But like,
and now I own that sound.
But like, you had like the Michelle Obama podcast. It's like, all right, I guess a few episodes, and then you had obviously the Prince Harry one. What other ones were there? I'm pretty sure Obama. Did Bruce Springsteen have one? Like all these freaking podcasts that come up with Spotify are just throwing money. And
again, sounds like a dream that somebody had, but yeah, Bruce Springsteen and Barack Obama had a podcast together.
Together. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's what you meant.
We're both Americans, both American boys from different parts of America. It's like, yeah, I used to write music, and you used to run the United States. I was like, what is this? What am I listening to? What is this? Who put these two people together? Sorry, that went full scale Jerry Seinfeld there. Didn't mean to. What's going on? Yeah, podcasts are weird, man. And this is one.
yeah, they released fucking. Yeah, there's two episodes. There's on the 22nd of February, they released two. It's like an hour each, and that's it. And God knows how much money they got.
I used to
Where's your money sign?
run the the United States of America, and you, Bruce, you used to sing about it. Like, I mean, that's gonna be it, right? That's gonna be it. That's all we have in common.
I don't listen to it. I
We
mean, they probably got some
both
cool
live
stories.
there. We both live there, I guess. Yeah, we do, Barack. We both live in the
I don't know.
United
I feel
States.
like Barack would be a very good podcaster. I feel like he could steer the conversation in interesting directions.
I think most of the podcast will just be
I heard him on Mark Maron. Mark Maron.
it's just loads of that. Just loads of. I think Bruce. What I think about the United States. That's Barack. That's my Barack. Sorry, what?
I heard him on Mark Maron a few years ago. Mark Maron's a comedian, and he is a good listen. He's just
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
the way he talks and the stories, and he's the cool prez.
He is the cool
Very-
president.
very
I mean,
charismatic.
darn right, he was the coolest president of all time, and we all know that. Do you remember that video? This is after he was out of office, and he was like on the was it down in the Disney bubble for the NBA, and he
It was like something to do with like Biden's campaign run. And
It
he,
was
like,
something
took
to
a
do
shot.
with he took a 3-pointer from like the sideline, he got it, and he just walked out, and I'm like, you're the fucking coolest president that ever lived, my man. That was the coolest shit I've ever seen. He's walked out like, peace.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I ran the country, and now my vice president's gonna run the country. 3, Kobe. It's just like, what? What just happened? Oh, dude. And he was in a suit. Fucking cool, man. Yeah. Right, man. I think we should talk about the Spotify thing a little bit more next week.
Next week.
We will wrap it up for this week. We started so late because all the old technical difficulties. Don't know why I struggle to say that. Technical difficulties, which happens all the time. But it made us start later, so it was a little bit shorter. And whenever I say shorter, it's an hour 48 minutes.
Still an hour and 48 minutes.
It wasn't shorter.
It wasn't really that much shorter. But
Although there was
we got
probably-
through a lot less.
There was probably about 40 minutes of content.
Yes. And the rest was goofs, gaffs, peeing, and pooping. And that's what you're going to get with the show. You're going to get a little bit of music news, a little bit of poop, a little bit of pee, a little bit of international recent events, and a lot
Contract
of...
crickets by listening to this show.
Yes, you could get crickets. You could leave this podcast with third stage terminal crickets. You don't want that.
I know I have.
I know I have. It's in Mike's foot. He has crickets in his foot, everyone.
There you go. Energy.
Just play the outro. I don't know. We're all tired. The technical difficulties took it out of us. Thank you for watching 6 Ep Bro. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please follow us on Spotify. We'll be back next week with another episode of this stuff. See you then. Hopefully more stuff happens.